Welcome to part 2 of a two-part series entitled Dr. James Lovelock, Vegan, and His Revolutionary Gaia Theory. World-renowned British-born independent scientist and inventor Dr. James Jim Lovelock is widely remembered for his conception of the Gaia theory, proposing that Earth is a living, self-regulating organism. Dr. Lovelock continued to develop and refine his Gaia hypothesis. From 1971, he collaborated with Dr. Lynn Margulis, then a biology professor at Boston University, USA, authoring a series of scientific papers on the subject. Moreover, he worked with an editor of the Oxford University Press to compile the now famous book, Gaia, A New Look at Life on Earth, published in 1979. Many biologists were resistant to aspects of Dr. Lovelock's Gaia theory. Thus, to illustrate the hypothesis's credibility, in 1981, he introduced the DaisyWorld model, a computer simulation that he formulated with marine and atmospheric scientist Dr. Andrew Watson. Speaking with science editor Tim Redford about the model, Dr. Lovelock said,
It wasn't until I made a very simple model called DaisyWorld that demonstrated quite clearly that you could get self-regulation by Darwinian natural selection without any problem at all. And it took a long time before that got swallowed.
DaisyWorld showed how a planet responds to human interference through the biosphere, measuring global temperature, atmospheric oxygen levels, and other environmental variables, which adjust in order to make life habitable. The Gaia theory has been the template to measure at least 10 scientific predictions since its conception. For instance, it has successfully demonstrated that the Earth would be approximately 10 degrees warmer if it were not for great masses of clouds that form over large bodies of water. Organisms living on the surface of the ocean produce gases that oxidize into the air and provide the particle structure around which clouds can form, thus allowing sunlight to be reflected back into space.
We also know that the removal of carbon dioxide from the air would not take place at anything like as fast as it does were it not for the organisms present in the soil and on the rocks and everywhere around the earth and in the ocean as well. And those twin processes, reflection of sunlight and pumping down of carbon dioxide, are what keeps the earth regulated. If there were no life on Earth, you would find that the Earth's temperature would be well over 60 degrees Celsius throughout.
From his converted barn laboratory in southwest England, Dr. Lovelock filed 40 more invention patents, wrote over 200 scientific papers, and published 14 books, while simultaneously taking numerous visiting professorships at various universities throughout the UK and the US. He also collaborated with many organizations, including NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and British Intelligence's MI5. In his personal life, Dr. Jim Lovelock married Sandy Orchard, vegan, in 1991. The couple had met at a spiritual symposium that she had organized. Dr. James Lovelock continued to advocate for the Green Movement and warn against humankind's disregard and lack of respect for the Earth's complex but delicate biosphere. His 2006 book, The Revenge of Gaia, Why the Earth is Fighting Back and How We Can Still Save Humanity, places the Gaia theory into the current context, a world experiencing climate change.
As far as the planetary system goes, it will always self-regulate so as to sustain habitability. And what we've done is to mess about with the atmosphere and much more importantly, I think, mess about with the land surface in the way of farming, taking out natural ecosystems that were previously regulating the climate. We've done those two things, a double whammy. And so naturally, as any living thing would do, when it finds it can't self-regulate and can't defend, it's moving to a place that it knows it can defend, and it's moving to a hot state that it's been in many times before, and it can self-regulate quite comfortably, and we'll have to make do. We won't be destroyed by any manner of means, but the amount of land that will be available for people to live on will be much less than it was.
In an article published in The Independent online newspaper, Dr. Jim Lovelock wrote,
"Before this century is over, billions of us will die, and the few breeding pairs of people that survive will be in the Arctic, while the climate remains tolerable." Had it been known then that life and the environment are closely coupled, Darwin would have seen that evolution involved not just the organisms, but the whole planetary surface. We might then have looked upon the Earth as if it were alive, and known that we cannot pollute the air or use the Earth's skin, its forest and ocean ecosystems, as a mere source of product to feed ourselves and furnish our homes. So what should we do? First, we have to keep in mind the awesome pace of change and realize how little time is left to act. And then, each community and nation must find the best use of the resources they have to sustain civilization for as long as they can.
Among Dr. Lovelock's other books were Gaia, Medicine for an Ailing Planet, The Vanishing Face of Gaia, A Final Warning, and A Rough Ride to the Future. Dr. Lovelock proposed many novel ideas on how we could lead more eco-friendly lifestyles. For instance, he suggested that humans retreat together into sustainable communities that would be maintained by artificial intelligence that would work in tandem with organic life. Still working in his early 90s, Dr. James Lovelock became increasingly concerned about the planet, stating that the systems that work together to maintain the Earth and its biosphere were on the last percent of life, he said.
My main reason for not relaxing into contented retirement is that, like most of you, I'm deeply concerned about the probability of massively harmful climate change and the need to do something about it now.
All information concerning the scientific evidence of climate change and its solution is in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, From Crisis to Peace, free for download at crisistopeace.org. In one of his last interviews with BBC's Hard Talk at the age of 101, he stated,
"We've been doing so much damage on such a scale. You see, before we started interfering about, I suppose, 100 more years ago, the planet was looking after itself pretty well, and it would have gone on for quite a long time. I had an article in the journal Nature on the lifespan of the biosphere, and it put it at about 1 million years at least. And I believed that then, but gradually we've got worse and worse. We've put more and more greenhouse gas into the atmosphere, and we insist we need to do so. And nothing that is argued against it seems to have any effect on people at large. I think the trouble mainly is there's so much money tied up in it.
Dr. James Lovelock's deep concern for the condition of the planet, the natural world, and his lifelong instinctual regard for the welfare of animal people led him to become a vegan, he said.
If we gave up eating beef, we would have roughly 20 to 30 times more land for food than we have now.
Widely respected, Dr. Lovelock became a member of the Royal Society in 1974 and received multiple awards and decorations, including the M.S. Sweat Chromatography Medal and the Blue Planet Prize. He was also made a Commander of the Order of the British Empire, or CBE, in 1990 and Companion of Honor in 2003 by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. On July 26, 2022, Dr. James Jim Lovelock passed away on his birthday at the age of 103, leaving a brilliant legacy that greatly influenced climate science and the environmental movement. Our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Jim Lovelock and the other like-minded scientists whose lifelong research help us be gentler stewards of Earth. May we swiftly heed their warnings and adopt the planet-healing vegan lifestyle to ensure the welfare of the vibrant life that Mother Earth benevolently supports. For more information on Dr. James Lovelock Vegan, please visit jameslovelock.org.
We are in this fight together to make plant-based products more accessible to everyone and to help create a better world by saving animals and doing less damage to the planet for our future generations. Lawrence Okoli, Vegan.
Noble viewers, thank you for being with us.